Hello and welcome to yet another video by NewYorkSteelo, and today by popular demand I've gotten several questions and requests on doing a video showing how I feed my anemone and corals, and I'm gonna show you that today. And we're gonna briefly touch up some very important issues when it comes to feeding your system. We're gonna get into that a little later. And usually I can tell you that I feed my system during the night hours, and the reason for that is because the majority of LPS corals, such as the bubble coral, which, by the way, if you just saw my recent update on the do-it-yourself nano tank, this coral was not opened as it is today. So it's getting there. It's been added a few days ago. And bubble corals, generally they feed during the night hours. They retract their bubbles and extend the feeder tentacles, which capture food and deliver it to its mouth. Now, all LPS corals have mouths. Here is a hammer coral which has a mouth, and I might actually feed that one as well. And here is the trumpet coral, and each one of these polyps has 1 to 2 mouths in it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna feed all the corals. I'm just gonna feed 2 or 3 of them. And usually I do this during the night hours, but for the purpose of this video we're gonna do it during the day so I can show you guys how it works. Now we're gonna be feeding the rose bubble tip anemone, and we're also gonna probably feed the hammer and the gold torch, the gold torch coral, just to give you guys a general idea how I do it. Now what you're looking at here is some frozen food. There's one frozen food that's missing here, and that's silver sides. And silver sides are very important for the overall health and growth of rose bubble tip anemones, or any anemone for that matter. But I have found that recently, when I've tried to feed this guy silver sides, the pieces might be too big, so he spits it back out and stuff like that during the night hours. So it is very important that you do not add a piece of food that is too big for the coral, because you walk away from your tank and a few hours later you're gonna see that the coral or the animal or the anemone is going to regurgitate that piece that you gave him. So I have found that this guy really likes some frozen krill and mysis shrimp, which are very tiny. Usually when I feed it the frozen krill, I chop it up into little bits and pieces and stuff like that. And with the mysis shrimp, I just deliver it directly, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, before I get into feeding the corals, I want to touch up a very important mistake that I'm sure lots of you make out there, and if you don't, that's excellent. But considering that these cubes here are frozen, the mysis shrimp, it is very important for you not to introduce the entire cube into the system. That is one major mistake that people make, and then they complain about having hair algae and all of that stuff. So what I like to do is that I like to take this little cup that you see here with a brine shrimp net. Let me just show you guys, right? And the brine shrimp net contains the mysis shrimp there, and it also contains water inside from the 90-gallon system. Now what I do is that I usually take about this much water that you see here. It's not much. And I put the 2 or 3 pieces of the cube and just kind of let it dissolve there for a little bit. And once it has finished thawing out, in other words, it's not frozen anymore, what I do is that I take this out, squeeze the net so as to get rid of that dirty water, and then reintroduce some new water from the tank, in order to allow me to be able to collect some of the mysis with this feeding apparatus that I use here. And I'm going to show you so in a sense, it is extremely important for you not to add the dirty water that is inside of each and every one of these cubes. If you do that, you're introducing lots of phosphates and lots of God knows what So it is important to thaw out the cubes and then discard that water and then reintroduce some water if you're going to do it the way that I'm going to show you. Now there are many different ways for you to feed your anemones and corals. You can use a large turkey baster in order to prevent putting your hands inside of the aquarium. Now I don't like to use a turkey baster because it requires me to use a lot more water and stuff like that. It certainly works, and if you want to go that route, you can definitely do it, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Number one rule when you know, feeding it the way that I'm going to show you guys is make sure that you wash your hands. You know, you want to make sure that you wash your hands, not with soap, but just let lots of water run through your hands, particularly hot water to kill bacteria and stuff like that. You know, very warm water. And so you know, the way I feed, I'm going to show you how to do it. So what I've done here is that I've taken the mysis shrimp and kind of sucked it into this syringe here. Now this is a small syringe here which I got from one of the test kits and stuff, which allows you to test the water properly, and I've since used it to feed my corals and some of my animals. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this syringe here and I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is for you to feed your corals. Now it's important to understand that when a coral is healthy, such as this bubble tip anemone, the tentacles are gonna be really sticky, and that's, you know, the way that they capture their food in nature, with the stickiness of the tentacles. Give me 1 second. Let me just put the camera down here. And I'm going to take the lights and move them out of the way. So I can easily put my hand inside of the system. Now, here we go. Nike and Peace here are actually rather excited. And so we're going into the system here. And it's important not to blast the anemone. Look at Nike here. These guys are like, yo, give me the food, give me the food. But instead, just kind of gradually send some of this mysis shrimp towards the tentacles. You're going to see the anemone is going to feed and is going to capture these mysis shrimp. You see that? And it's going to take it directly into its mouth. You know, just kind of take different areas here, have them collect the mysis shrimp and take it towards its mouth. And at the same time, you know, Nike here is going to be feeding and stuff. Now, same thing applies for your LPS corals. You know, it's very simple. As you can see here, this guy is really swelling up and consuming that food. If I were to feed here the gold torch coral, same thing applies here. And we're just gonna sort of send some of the food in its direction. And you're gonna see that most of the food is caught up in the tentacles and is being delivered towards the mouth. Now the rest of the food that goes all over the place is going to get eaten by your fish. And last but not least, as you can see, some of these trumpet corals, they're starting to smell the food, and they're actually starting to open up, and some of the tentacles might pop out. Last but not least, we're going to feed the hammer coral. Same thing applies here. See? Once you deliver the food, it gets really sticky here, you know, and they're going to take the food and deliver it directly into their mouth. So I hope this information and this video has been helpful to you. Very simple to do. Usually I do this during the night hours, and it's important for you to feed your anemones at least once a week. And if you're trying to recover the animal, you know, it's important for you to feed it several times during the week, maybe 2 times a week or something like that. But very important, make sure that the food that you give your corals and your anemones is not too large in size, or they will regurgitate the food. As you can see here, this guy is just eating it, and some of the tentacles are really drawn in, delivering the food. This guy here as well. So I hope that the video has been informational for you and has helped you out once again. And you know, I've got a lot more videos coming up. Particularly, I'm gonna be getting ready to start making some of the videos on some of the equipment I mentioned on the previous video. So I hope that this video has helped out once again. If you have any questions whatsoever on how to feed your corals and your animals, do so. Hit me up on YouTube. I'll be more than glad to help you and answer your question. But you can see this guy is really eating that food up. So this is NewYorkSteelo signing out. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Until next time, many more videos to come, guys. Peace.